Ladies and gentlemen, mark my words, you're in for a show. The Mark Warsh Show is the perfect antidote for all your troubles, and you know what they say, laughter is the best medicine. It's going to be a blast as we dive into the top stories of today. From the latest controversy surrounding gun control to whether or not our leaders can speak without stumbling, we're tackling it all. So sit back, relax, and let's share some laughs as we take on the issues that matter. Just a fair warning, though, some of my jokes are pretty punny, so brace yourselves. I guarantee you won't want to miss a moment of today's show. Let's go. This is Mark Warsh reporting on the breaking news between the United States and Canada regarding their northern border. As an African-American boomer who values faith, family, and freedom and has a healthy skepticism of the official mainstream and government narratives, I have to say this news is a step in the right direction for our country. According to reports, the agreement between the two countries will allow them to turn away migrants who cross the northern border illegally. This is a solution that has been long overdue. The deal would enable both countries to deny entry to migrants crossing the U.S.-Canada border without valid documents, and Canada would be responsible for returning those who cross the northern border illegally. This new agreement couldn't come at a better time. The number of migrants crossing the northern border is increasing rapidly. According to U.S. Customs and Border Protection, there were nearly 13,000 migrants apprehended at the northern border in February 2021, which is a more than 300% increase from the same period last year. This is a crisis that we must tackle head-on. Now, of course, the Democrats will try to spin this story as a move that is racist or xenophobic. They always want to paint the United States as the bad guy. But let's be frank, unauthorized migration is a global issue that needs to be addressed. The United States and Canada must have measures in place to ensure the security of their citizens and their borders. This deal will also make it challenging for those without valid documents to enter either country. It puts additional responsibility on the Canadian government to enforce its border policies and to ensure that those attempting to cross the border without valid documents are returned to their home countries. In conclusion, this decision from the United States and Canada is a step forward in resolving the crisis at the northern border, and it serves the best interest of our countries. It's time for other countries to follow suit and ensure the protection of their citizens and their borders. Let's address the root cause of this issue and do what's right for our countries. Well, folks, we have another gaffe from our dear old President Biden. Seems like he just can't shake his habit of misspeaking in public. This time around, he made quite the whopper by suggesting that his administration's policy could help keep guns away from domestic political advisors. But hold your horses, folks, because that's not exactly the case. The White House had to issue a correction in the transcript clarifying that no, the policy does not keep guns away from domestic political advisors. Now, you might be thinking, why would the president make such a claim in the first place? Well, that's a mystery for the ages, my friends. But let's just say that this little mistake is less than reassuring when it comes to the competency of our highest leadership. And this isn't the first time our dear old president has misspoke. Seems like he's almost gotten into a groove with it. Remember back in September 2020 when he claimed that the unemployment rate was at the lowest it had been in over 50 years? Yeah, that was wildly inaccurate too. The last time it was lower than 3.7%, like it was at the time of his statement, was back in the late 1960s. Yikes. Now, you might be wondering why we should care about these little blunders. Well, folks, the truth is we need our leaders to speak accurately and honestly when they are in the public eye. It's important for building trust between the people and the government. And hey, let's not forget about the potential consequences. Misinformation can lead to misguided policies, and that's not good for anyone. So let's hope that President Biden starts to watch his words a little more closely in the future. We all could use a little less gaffes and a little more certainty in our lives. Newsflash. In a move that has caused controversy within the sports community, World Athletics, WA, has decided to exclude transgender female athletes from women's competitions. This new ruling, which takes effect on March 31st, 2023, seeks to protect the female category from male to female transgender athletes who have experienced male puberty. A recent study revealed that they have a 10-12% performance advantage over those with female puberty. The decision has been met with both criticism and support, with some individuals arguing that it is unfair to exclude transgender athletes from women's competitions, while others insist that it is necessary to ensure a level playing field for female athletes. However, as an African-American boomer who values faith, family, and freedom, I have a healthy skepticism of the official mainstream and government narratives. Regardless of where you stand, it is essential to prioritize the best interests of the United States in such matters. It is crucial to have empathy for victims in our reporting, and that involves scrutinizing this decision carefully. WA President Sebastian Coe stated that the ruling was based on recent scientific evidence and the need to protect the female category. However, it seems that the scientific evidence cited by WA is conflicting. On one side, we have a study published by IAAF that revealed transgender women with male puberty had a 10-12% performance advantage. On the other hand, we have a study published in the Journal of Medical Ethics that found no evidence of competitive advantage for transgender women who had undergone hormone therapy. Besides, I find it interesting that governments worldwide are making laws to protect transgender women in employment, housing, and other areas. However, sports organizations are implementing policies that discriminate against them. It doesn't take an athlete's exceptional perception to notice such inconsistencies. In conclusion, it is commendable to hear that some people are speaking up for those who can't speak for themselves, and I hope this ruling will provide a way forward for fairness in women's athletics. Nonetheless, it is crucial to ensure that we remain empathetic to victims and scrutinize every decision by governments and organizations. Mark Warsh here, reporting on the recent news that Democrats could be looking to declare firearm violence a public health emergency. As an African-American boomer who values faith, family, and freedom, I'm always skeptical when the government tries to change laws and regulations surrounding firearms. While the Democrats may claim that this move is to combat gun violence, it seems more likely that it will just be used to limit the rights of law-abiding gun owners. Let's not forget that the Second Amendment gives American citizens the right to bear arms, and any attempt to infringe upon that right should be met with a healthy dose of skepticism. It's worth noting that the Democrats have consistently tried to pass strict gun control laws in the past and have always met opposition from gun owners who value their Second Amendment rights. If they do try to use a public health emergency to pass such laws, it won't be surprising. While the Democrats may argue that stricter gun control laws will help reduce gun violence, the statistics don't always support this claim. Take, for example, the city of Chicago, which has some of the strictest gun control laws in the country, yet also has a high rate of gun violence. This suggests that access to guns isn't necessarily the root of the problem, but rather other factors such as mental health, poverty, and gang activity. It's also worth considering the impact that stricter gun control laws will have on victims of crime. If a law-abiding citizen is unable to defend themselves against an armed attacker, they may be at a higher risk of becoming a victim of violent crime. This is something that we should all be concerned about, and any attempt to limit the rights of law-abiding citizens should be met with the utmost scrutiny. In conclusion, while Democrats may argue that declaring firearm violence a public health emergency is necessary to combat gun violence, it's clear that their true aim is to limit the rights of law-abiding citizens. We should all be skeptical of such attempts and work to ensure that our Second Amendment rights are protected. As always, my priority is the best interest of the United States, and I offer my genuine empathy to victims of gun violence. Thank you for tuning in to the Mark Warsh Show. I hope these segments have provided you with some valuable insights and perspectives on the latest news and events. Remember, it's crucial to be skeptical of the official mainstream and government narratives and to seek alternative viewpoints. We're living in a world that's constantly changing, and it's essential to stay informed and engaged. So I encourage you to connect with me on social media, where we can continue the conversation and share our thoughts and opinions. If you've enjoyed the show, please consider giving it a like and subscribing to stay up to date with the latest segments. Let's continue to have these essential conversations that shape the future of our country. Thanks again for listening, and I look forward to connecting with you soon.